You done fucking with your microphone?
Yeah. I was done on time. I was watching the countdown. I got this. Shit, you think I'm coming a slacker? This is a Dirty Slider podcast. We don't slack on this shit.
Sure.
Marshall.
Starting off and up.
Ooh, let's go.
We are not professionals.
What's your intro?
Welcome to the Dirty Sliders podcast.
Cheers.
All right, Slider Nation, welcome into another podcast. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody's support. We're starting off gangbusters here. We got a little bit nationwide action, some rainouts in California, update on the Spencer family, and Lord only knows what else. Surely we're gonna have a hot take on something. We're gonna start off with Thomas, aka the Microwave. That name is gonna stick, or my life is gonna fail.
Oh, hell yeah!
Hey, so
buddy?
What was it Tim asking last time? What's the best style of microwave?
Wattage? Oh,
What's the
wattage.
best wattage?
What wattage?
1,000 or
We
1,250.
picked him up at 3,500 watt.
I think 1,000 watts probably the way you want to go, because with 1,000 watt, you kind of want to cook it low and slow, like most things, you know.
Oh, good Lord.
Enhances the flavor.
Good Lord. Anyways, moving on. Got some sprint car action news going on
I didn't get
here.
Thomas on that one. I got Neil.
So, out of the sprint car world, the 410 wing sprint car world, the Shark Racing 1A had their drivers split. They pulled somebody in. He ran a couple races, wrecked some stuff. They canned him, and then they brought in Ashton Torgerson. For those of you who recognize the name, he was the individual who was tossed from the car at Chili Bowl a couple years back. But he got the chance to drive that car in central Pennsylvania. And on Sunday at BAPS, he took the win. And it wasn't against a easy crowd. Yes, Marshall.
I think Raz has something.
The student has something there, teacher.
Marshall, you may speak.
Who is this Marshall person you speak of? So I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Ashton Torgerson hater. I'm not even going to hide it. Anybody who lets himself get thrown out of a race car and then tries to deny that their belts are loose, I don't have any respect for. But anyway, I questioned why he got that particular ride, and then I actually questioned it with someone who knows what they're talking about, and they are paying $7,000 a night to be in the Shark Racing seat.
Oh shit! Let's start over.
We'll let him. As we're waiting for him to come back in. As I was saying, it wasn't against an easy field. So he beat out. Yeah, I can't gather my thoughts here. So he finished. He beat Chaz Dietz, Danny Dietrich, Lance DeWeese, Anthony Macri, Troy Wagaman Jr., Brock Zerfrost, Kyle Moody, Cody Hartlob, and Doug Hammaker, the top 10.
So, welcome
on hot take number 2, Raz. You have something?
I don't know if you guys heard anything of what I said, but why don't you give it another try? I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Ashton Torgerson hater. Anybody who gets himself thrown out of a midget and then denies that their belts are loose, I don't have any respect for.
He's trying.
But I talked to someone who knows what they're talking about, and the Torgerson family is paying Shark Racing $7,000 per race night.
Wow.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Again?
Holy smoke.
That's that'll get you in about just about
That's
any
some
seat,
money. Well, yeah.
Well, they're not hurting.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I would say with their, with the Sharks'
Tor-
experience with the last driver, they want their money back.
They need to recoup some funds.
Shark Racing has always made the reputation of doing a lot with a little. They're a very good team with a very low budget, and they've done very well.
Mm-hmm.
And the Danny Torgerson is a promoter of monster trucks, and that family does very well for themselves. And that is today's world. They bought that ride, and
Money talks.
I guess I should swallow my words because he won a race. So the proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's central Pennsylvania. He ran against a bunch of locals, including those big names, Dietrich, Macri, all those guys. They run that track for years and years and years. So, I mean, you can't take that from him. He did wheel the thing.
Well, the Pennsylvania locals are assassins, almost every one of them. They call it the Pennsylvania Posse for a reason.
Yeah. So
I'll give it up.
But as you said, Raz, they're paying per race to race it. It's not a permanent thing. He's not permanently in that seat. It's going to be a fluid deal. Maybe this win changes something, but we'll see. I don't know if Ashton can.
Yeah, he can say he's a World Outlaws winner.
No, it wasn't World Outlaws. It was a local sanctioned race.
It was World of Outlaws, yeah.
But
I mean, Aaron Crocker's a World of Outlaws winner too.
Valid, touche.
Now, you know what?
That's something none of us are.
All jokes aside,
I've never won a wing sprint.
It's not like she backed into that. She legit won a World Outlaws race. So she had some serious talent in the sprint car. I'm not taking anything away from that. She ran out of money, and then she married money, and then they ran out.
Funny when race cars are involved, how that
That's
happens.
what racing does.
Racing will run through some money in a hurry.
well, and that shit hurts some people.
And then our local guys, you guys rained out.
Yep. Mother Nature wins one again for us. But
It's funny because
it actually worked out for the best.
Nah, fuck it, dick.
Wow. What's your real
why is that?
opinion, Thomas?
Why is that, Thomas?
Fuck, man. We busted our ass for 2 weeks straight to get that damn car back together. Had pieces at 3:00 in the afternoon on Friday that didn't fit, and we had to scramble to get something to make that shit go together, to get it on the trailer to make the race on Saturday. Just to have it rained out was just defeating. I'm not mad at the promoters or nothing. I'm just mad that we didn't get to race after putting all that damn work in the car.
They
It just
got
means
2
it's
more
ready
weeks
for the
to
next
make it
week.
right.
Right.
Yeah, how's that?
Hey,
how's
little
that,
Aren't you glad you had 2 weeks? Now you got 4.
how's that meme go? Is this your
Little
first
piece
time?
of yeah, exactly. And a piece of advice, Thomas: don't hit the wall. You won't have that work to do.
When you break a spindle, hard to make that choice.
True. I know. Just giving you
this-
shit, buddy.
This is me over here biting my tongue about that broken spindle. It's funny though because Barona
Does it hurt?
Barona called it early, and caught a little crap over calling it early and not canceling. It's the weather forecast doesn't look that bad. We're calling it for nothing, and then it rained pretty good, and then Paris called it late, and they caught crap for that. So call it early, call it late. You're gonna catch crap no matter what.
Did anybody see Kenny Wallace's post on rainouts?
I missed it now.
He posted it on Facebook, but obviously you can't listen to a video when you record on here. Otherwise, I'd try to pull it up. He pretty much said the track is at fault either direction, but calling it early saves people a bunch of money and time.
Right.
Yep.
I think we all remember a few years ago when we had the hurricane coming, and we were still going to try and make it because the forecast was for, it's nothing. That's not that much rain. And would we make it through heats, and then we had to call off everything else that night?
I've been at Barona when we were getting ready to go to staging and it started pouring down rain. And then it was a shit show trying to get out of there. Like Paris.
Well, I was
Tractors pulling people across the track.
I was trying to. Oh, here it is. Here's that. It's a video or picture. Here, let me see if I can share it. Let me try and share stuff on here. We're not experts. Remember that. Okay, hang on. Here comes. Share.
Say sweet nothings in my ears.
I'm sharing this to you now. Yeah, so this is the picture of them trying to get out of Paris on Saturday, where they had to, grader off just one little place here, and this guy had to get pulled out with his trailer. Then there's this one off on the side video of people getting tractored out. So yeah, make the call early, make the call late. At some point, you're not going to be right.
And
For
I
me,
mean,
I'd
like
rather
I
make the
said,
call early.
Right.
yeah, I'm not upset with them at all. I'm just frustrated with all the work and Mother Nature decides to shit on us.
well.
It just said that you needed a break. So now your work's done. Now you got a break time.
This is becoming a recurring theme for me, recalling the dinosaur ages back when I used to race. We were at Santa Maria Speedway and this was the internet was still fairly. You didn't get all the updates that you got, and we were at the track set up. And back then we pitted in the infield at Santa Maria Speedway, and it dumped. I mean, dumped. We had like standing water in the infield, and people were just scrambling to get out of that track. I ended up having to hook the race car to the front of the tow rig and tow. My dad's driving the tow rig and I'm driving the race car. I'm pulling him out the exit gate there in turn 3 at Santa Maria Speedway. And it was funny because we're going there and we just start to get up the thing, nailed the throttle on the race car and just plastered the windshield. My dad says he had no clue. Just a brown fountain.
Well, speaking of Santa Maria Speedway, they have a
I'm
full
glad you said
schedule
that,
this
not brown
year.
fountains.
They have a
I was like, oh, hell, here we go.
they have a full schedule
Dan
this year,
Taylor
boys.
story.
But yeah, lights are back on. Lights are back on at Santa Maria Speedway. First time in a long time.
Oh yeah, that was a fun track to run. I'd like to run it again.
That's good to see these kind of places come back.
I absolutely love Santa Maria Speed. It's the surface I learned to race on. It is just a beautiful clay track, high banking. Remember when the World Outlaws would go there, they would say this is the nicest surface in California by far. And it's good to see it back. I hate to see tracks close, and when that one closed, it broke my heart.
Hit home for you.
Yeah.
For sure. We asked the track for permission to spread my dad's ashes on the track, and they told me no. So of course I didn't.
Yeah.
All right. I believe
Hate when
that.
there's stuff in the
Yeah.
in the rockers.
Well, of course I didn't build a trap door in the bottom of the racetrack and wait till we got it with green flag speed and pull a cable. That would have been wrong.
Wrong.
Anyway, I'm not confessing to any crimes. We touched a
Statute
little
of
bit on.
limitation.
We touched a little bit. Well, we recorded a podcast last week, which did not air because wow, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Anyway, it didn't
Yeah.
air because we had screw ups
Join the
on our
club.
end, like always.
Like this.
Yeah, that's all Justina. Anyway, lovely.
Okay.
Is it everybody?
That'll do it for
better.
now.
There you go. We're back.
So we
Okay.
had a full podcast. We talked to Ryan Spencer and Tim Spencer, both friend of the podcast and friends of ours, like good friends of ours. We've partied with them. I've worked on their vehicles. Neilden's worked on their vehicles. We've broken bread with them. We've gotten stupid out at the nursery with them. Just great. Their house burnt down after their races rained out. Thankfully they all got out safe and sound. They lost some pets and lost everything else, including Tim's modified, Tim's Harley, a whole bunch of stuff. But thanks
200,000 mile Dodge.
So why don't you give us an update on that, Neilden?
So right now they're actually doing pretty good. Unfortunately, the Slider Nation is just finding out about this, but we threw them some things. I know I threw some cash at them. The team threw some stuff they needed towards them, and realistically, they found out they have a lot more friends than they realized. So
Yeah,
they're
and
not
that's
in
awesome.
desperate need of anything that I know of right now.
And we'll keep it updated if they shout out that they have some needs, then we'll definitely let people know. But as of right now, they're doing pretty good. They're waiting to hear from their insurance company on how things are going to go. They do have a roof over their head, and
And they'll be fucked.
the insurance company will fuck them for sure. It's just how that goes. What else? We talked about the Hoosier dirt late model tire and what a debacle and a travesty and a tragedy that was going to be. It was going to change racing, and racers were going to go broke, and they rolled out that tire, and people actually racing under it, and it's a non-story now. You'd say they can hardly tell the difference between that tire and the old tire. Prices are competitive with American Racer. It just everything's fine. It's all good.
Well, with that new tire, Bobby Pierce
Whoa.
did a ton of testing on that thing between that one and back and forth with the old one. And he's actually been running the new tire over the old tire. So not only is it not doing up, but it is maybe a little bit better. He's the number one late model driver in the country, and he chooses the new tire. So I think Hoosier might have got it right.
Yeah, and Bobby Pierce is just running away with World Outlaws late model. It's like him and everybody else.
Yep.
Racing for
Before-
second.
Yeah. Before we came on this podcast, I was watching a live stream of Race Tech video with Bob Harris and Nick Hoffman was on there. And Nick Hoffman was talking about that tire a little bit, and he was saying that, typically they would get new tires from the factory and kind of let them sit because a brand new fresh tire would have bad issues with blistering and tearing apart. Well, this new tire, I mean, it's brand new. It just came out. It hasn't had time to sit. So, but it doesn't have that issue where it blisters and comes apart and delaminates.
Yeah, I had heard that Hoosier housed these tires for a while, so they would get a little cure time on them before they introduced them, which was the issue post COVID. Was the tires were not sitting on the shelf long enough to actually get that post cure to help them stay together, and they were coming apart like crazy. Obviously not a good look for Hoosier or anybody else, but we all saw it. Those tires, especially on sprint cars, man, they were just not staying together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of sprint cars, Caleb Montgomery has come out with a T-shirt, and it is up for sale. He wants $25 a shirt and $10 to ship it. So reach out to him on his Facebook. She will get you lined up. I have bought one. It's kind of a cool design. Totally unprepared for this. We'll see if I can pull up a picture of it. Meanwhile, someone else go ahead and roll with the topic while I'm looking this crap up.
Negative, sir.
Oh,
Well, I
is
was
that
camping.
the...
Sorry. In a hobby stock? Damn.
Yeah. Raz, I got you.
You got him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about for Caleb?
That's the one. It's pretty cool shirt design.
That's pretty cool shirt, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Trackside Apparel Co.
Yeah, but he just received his shipment of shirts. So, get on that because support a good racer. He's not the guy paying. Well, he is paying for the seat, but it's his car. He is just a talented race car driver, overperforming in underfunded equipment for sure.
Yeah, and when I went out to see the high limits in Vegas when Caleb was running, I wanted to talk to him, but he was too busy actually working on the car after hot laps to get it ready because it was literally just him and one other guy out there doing everything. So yeah, definitely a racer's racer that does his own stuff.
Yeah, it's usually Max Adams helping him out a lot, and Max Adams is a pretty talented driver in his own right. But they're good friends and they help each other out. He's also friends with YouTube. I'm drawing a blank right.
Cali Dirt.
Cali Dirt.
Tanner Holmes.
I forget his name too.
Tanner Holmes. Supposedly Tanner has taught Caleb everything he knows about YouTube and maximizing his.
Brandon's over there watching
online
IMCA
presence,
videos.
Tanner's
I know. I
is
can
making
hear
a
it.
career out of that, so I guess he's doing it right. Pretty talented driver, but much more talented with social media and YouTube and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to get that much side bite
To hit-
is
Wow.
Well, unfortunately, our viewers won't be able to see that. Anyway, what else you got? I'm going to Eldora on Saturday they're doing the
So-
Let's Race 2. So I'm going Saturday night. I'm going to try to talk my wife into staying up there and doing Sunday night as well, but that's going to be a tough road home.
Fun.
Well, it'll be fun, yeah.
Yeah, I've never been. It's Eldora is fairly close to me. It's 4.5 hours, which isn't terrible. And I've never been to Eldora. It's kind of been a bucket list thing for me. I'd like to go for one of the big races, which I guess World Outlaw Sprint Cars is a big race. C-Bell is coming with to race, which probably means you might see Larson too. I don't know, but C-Bell has a pretty cool interstate batteries paint scheme on his, and again, total.
Oh yeah.
He's
saw
running that
for
at Texas.
Texas, yeah.
He's running at Eldora too, isn't he? Am I wrong on that? I thought he was.
The post I saw only said Texas, but that doesn't rule anything out.
I could be wrong. I've been wrong. I've not been able to follow much this week because I've been doing a bunch of offline stuff out at the my super secret project that I'm working on out at that shop, trying to get that thing ready to go.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as of last night, the Lucas Oil point standings, I want to touch on this just because one of our good buddies, Garrett Alberson here, has cracked the top 4 in the Lucas Oil points and is 65 points ahead of Brandon Overton for that final 4th spot. Why is that important? Because at the end of the year, Lucas Oil takes only the top 4 to Eldora to do the World Championships for late model racing, and that's where they crown their winner. It's kind of similar to the NASCAR deal where points get washed and it's just winner take all sort of thing. But I think it's really cool to see Garrett up there in that top 4, potentially being able to battle for a championship at the end of the year. He did pick up a win at the beginning of the year with the World Outlaws down in Florida. He has not picked up one with Lucas, but he has been damn close. He finished 2nd on Saturday night behind Ricky in that race. So, I mean, for finished podium almost every night, it's going to be hard to beat you.
Yep. Consistency is the key.
I heard that somewhere.
Yep.
In order to finish first.
Yeah, Thomas, you don't want to be consistent.
Yep. I was looking at my lap times from the last race, and I ran in the heat race. I was within 2/10 the whole heat race, and then in the main, I was 3.5 tenths variation in time.
You looked really fast in the main, all the way to the wall.
Thanks, man. I think the wall thought the same thing too, because it said when I hit it, like Brandon there.
Come here.
Speaking of hits, how about that hit that C-Bell took at Talladega? God.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God.
Lord.
That was the only exciting thing that happened the whole race.
It was a pretty boring race. But I
True.
guess I guess
But
Denny
yeah,
turned him. I
that-
didn't see that.
Thing had to have hurt.
Yeah, then he turned him off the corner. They're just pushing and just got a little sideways. I mean, nothing crazy. Just try to push him, get up to speed. It just
But that-
hooked him just a little bit.
I bet that made for an interesting competition meeting.
Well, Denny's like, what the fuck happened? You weren't even
Yeah.
up to speed.
Well, yeah,
Yep.
we weren't even up to speed. We were only doing 130.
Well, yeah. I mean, those cars
mean,
ain't
yeah.
nothing.
It's nothing, but still.
I'm pretty sure about the time Christopher Bell hit that inside wall, he felt like he was up to speed.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sure.
fast enough for hitting the wall.
He got there in a hurry.
Y'all see the video that I sent in the group chat about the sprint car leaving the ballpark in Knoxville?
Or-
Yes.
Holy smokes! I don't know who
I
the
was
two
camping.
drivers were. I don't know who the two drivers were. I don't even know if this app allows the videos to play or not. It seems like maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But if you get on your YouTubes or your Googles and you get out there and search, you can watch two sprint cars come together. Entry of one, and the one in the back climbs the one in the front and just catapults him straight over the top of the wall out of the ballpark. And Knoxville's got a hell of a wall.
It's because everybody
And
runs
he
the
went
fence.
up and over and took that signboard out.
So he tried to do a Shane Sexton.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, what's next?
I don't know. What else we got?
Rico won the high limit race.
Held off Larson.
It's always something if you can do that.
There was some pretty good racing in that race. I forget where they were, but they were going, and he held Larson off. I'll say it. I've said it time and time again. I'll say it again. When you put Rico in a Wings 410 sprint car, that man is 10 foot tall.
Oh, yeah.
All you got to be able to do is mash the gas.
Well, he's got that down for sure. Hell of a driver.
He definitely does.
He's a beast in that car.
They're still
I
saying.
mean, he
it's-
wasn't bad in trucks either.
From what I understand, the problem in trucks was lack of funding, and the brew money could only take them so far. Because I mean, they're fairly well off, but they're not Elon Musk.
They're not.
rich.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, a big part of the problem was the fact that nobody from the crew could get in that truck and move it.
Mm-hmm.
It became a logistical nightmare for him because obviously he's just barely 4 feet tall, so it's everything is set up custom for him. I looked in his midget setup at Paris one time. I was pretty amazed. It is specialized.
He's still a badass. I don't care what anybody says.
Super nice guy too. Really nice guy. Fun to talk to.
Hey, if you're listening, Rico, I'm on your wait list for your wine, so help a guy out.
That's his daddy's one.
I don't care whose it is.
And I'm not saying
I
that.
want to get in so I can pay some money and get it.
I'm not saying that because Rico's riding his daddy's coattails, but his dad is a legend in the wine industry. He put his name on the map by blending and doing some crazy stuff for Fess Parker, and then that put him from there. He went from Fess Parker to Longoria, and has made some legendary wines, and is a big name in the wine industry. And now they have their own vineyard and their own stuff. Shame on me, I forget his dad's first name, but they do really well. And good on them. It's funny because when Larson first stepped into the game, everybody was talking about how he brought Rico Abreu along and put his name on them. It was the other way around. Rico Abreu put Kyle Larson on them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I learned something new every night.
Well,
Yeah, the Abreu family helped fund Larson.
Well, not only that, but they built a track at the Abreu vineyards and were racing outlaw carts there and like sanctioned races. They were just screwing around in the backyard. They would have regular sanctioned races, and they put Larson in a competitive outlaw cart, and had him out there, and pretty soon it was he was Kyle was making some noise and actually winning races against some pretty good competition, and then from there he ended up in a sprint car ride there in Central California, Northern California, and I just kind of put him on the map. And Ganassi saw something in him and put him in the big time.
And that's all it takes is somebody to see you and take your talent and help you and give you a chance.
I think Larson is the last of the.
It's hard getting that chance, that's for sure.
Right.
I think Larson is the last of the drivers, at least in NASCAR, that got there on talent, because he didn't make it on money. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That is they're not a broke family, but they're middle class at best, and they scrap team.
They're regular.
Yeah.
They're but Kyle just had generational talent. And I think Bill Davis Racing got some attention to him and put him in a nationwide car, whatever you want to call it, Xfinity. I still don't call them Busch cars. And then from there, like I said, Ganassi put his weight behind him and said, "I'll find sponsors for them," and he did.
Yeah, you said that Josh Berry's on that list, right?
Mhm.
Josh Berry.
Well, yeah.
but
Yes.
Josh Berry got to cup off talent, not money.
Yeah,
He
I'll
had
agree
Junior
with you there.
dragging him along, but I mean, Josh Berry did it.
Yeah, but Junior was dragging him along not because Josh was paying money. It's because Junior saw some talent in this running asphalt late models.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
Said, well, this is the guy. I want him. And he said, put him in his asphalt late model. And then from there, it grew into getting into Junior's nationwide cars. And then next thing he's in the Wood Brothers ride.
And has a
And
win
Josh
this
was
year.
prepping his own car.
Yeah, he turned.
He did all the
wrenches on
prep on that car too himself. So he didn't get an arrive and drive with Junior. It was here's a chassis, there's a trailer. Go see what you can make happen.
it. Well, he worked in the shop
Well,
full time.
Mhm.
Oh, speaking of arrive and drive, one Tony Stewart offered Dale Jr. a ride in his Top Fuel car.
Oh,
but
I saw that. I also saw Tony say he will not drive a pro stock. He needs to work up to that. It's a slower car. There's 8,000 things to do, not 5.
Yeah.
It's like every time I see one of them, they're upside down. Good point to not be in them.
Well, yeah, and completely off topic.
Yeah, I think
but-
that's Amy's decision.
completely off topic, but I saw a recent interview with Tony Stewart, and this is kind of dirt related. He said he has 2 regrets in his racing career. Regret number 1 was racing a sprint car race in New York. He says, "I wish I never would have went up there." And everybody knows what happened. We don't need to go over it. But the other thing he said, he goes, "I wish I would have treated people better." He goes, "I was too brash, too cocky, too mouthy," and he says, "I treated people like crap." I think that shows a lot of growth in Tony Stewart, because we all know what he was like. He was smoke 100%, and he'd bring the smoke.
Oh, yeah.
well, dragging back here to dirt track a little bit. IMCA has a podcast that they do.
And
This most recent podcast that they did, they were talking about some story. They had Ben Dethridge on there, and first off, Ben Dethridge has been named as the IMCA publicist. We had
I
him,
was going to say that. I saw that.
so congrats to him. But in that podcast, they were talking about articles that Ben Dethridge had wrote, and my name got brought up in that podcast. This last one that they did.
Nice. Look at you. You're famous. You're going to outgrow our little dozens of listeners, like we say.
he's on his way.
He is.
Well, we're only 36 minutes in. This one's going to be a little light, but I think probably I'll just bring it to a close unless somebody's got
I think
something.
No, sir.
Nothing. I think we covered it all.
I will see what I can do as far as reporting from Eldora next week. Maybe I can get some decent footage, maybe an interview or 2. I'll take my
That'd be cool.
take my audio recorder up there with me.
Cool.
Sounds
No racing.
Send
for
it,
the,
son.
No racing for the slider crew this coming weekend. You guys got 2 weeks off, right?
Yep. Next one is May 10th.
And then I got a fairly decent chance of in Indy on a pit crew for Memorial Day weekend for the little
Nice.
500. For the little 500.
I was about to
Little
say.
500, little 500, big 500. It'll all be fun.
The little 500 is asphalt sprint cars, and my buddy Jerry Cobbs is coming out from California to run it, and he's asked me if I'd come out there and help. It sounds like a blast to me. Indianapolis on Memorial Day weekend, I'll take it, even if it's not at the big track.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
I have a feeling you'll make your way over to the big track.
Well, one of the Woodlands is spotting for a certain Ryan Hunter race, so that might happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
won't turn.
that would
the
be
opportu-
awesome.
I won't.
Good
I
stuff,
won't
man.
Turn the opportunity down if it happens.
No.
No, by no means.
All right. Well, with that, let's draw it to a close. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support. John, let's hear the socials one more time.
Dirty Sliders on Facebook, at Dirty Sliders on Instagram, dirty.sliders on Twitter. I got the Instagram and Twitter's backwards. You know how to do it. Up Dirty Sliders, that's us.
True professionals. this
And
podcast.
Dirty Sliders podcast on Dirty Sliders podcast on Patreon. We got our shirts up there. So get a shirt. We got some cool shirts too. If you want a different design, we'll make a different design. I know a guy that makes them. So yeah, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
You got an idea?
If
I-
anybody's
Oh,
got an
shoot.
idea,
I put an idea out there. Nobody wanted it. That Frunk is duck shirt.
the Frunka's duck.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I think we should.
We got our name on a race car that's not ours.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, we
Let's
do. I forgot about
shout,
that.
Shout out to
Yeah.
shout out to our newest sponsor, Dirty Slider Racer,
Yes.
Ollie Shane, in the junior sprint out of Barona. We'll share some
Yep.
Yep.
pictures of his ride on our socials. Thanks to John.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get him up there, and heck, maybe we'll have him on one of these days.
There we
That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Ooh,
Good
yeah.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Sounds good.
everybody.
All right.
Later,
See-
y'all. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah.